All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a fantastic tool designed to bring some serious order to the often chaotic world of product development. It's called the Feature by Release Roadmap. You know that feeling, right? Your team is busy, everyone's putting in the hours, but there's this underlying confusion. People keep asking, so what are we actually building next? And all you get are blank stares. That right there is a huge red flag that your planning is off the rails. And that little bit of confusion? Oh, it snowballs. And fast. Suddenly, your stakeholders are getting antsy because they have no idea what to expect. Scope creep becomes the norm. Your developers are totally stressed out from constantly shifting goalposts. And deadlines? Well, they start flying by. The end result? Just a ton of wasted time, money, and a whole lot of frustration. So this state of disarray, it actually has a name. We call it software planning chaos, and it's exactly what happens when you don't have a clear, shared vision of where you're all going. But don't worry, there's absolutely a way to cut through all that fog. Let's talk about the solution, a roadmap that's built from the ground up for one thing: clarity. And here it is, the Feature by Release Roadmap. Look, at its core, it's a super straightforward visual plan. All it does is group your new features under specific versions or releases. That's it. It tells everyone in no uncertain terms what is shipping and when it's going to ship. And the beauty of this is just how simple it is. You can see at a single glance exactly what's planned. So for version 1.0, the team's all in on real-time collaboration. Then for 1.1, they're going to tackle API integrations. And looking ahead to 2.0, advanced reporting is on the menu. See? It's just instant clarity for the whole company. Okay, so how does this thing actually work? And maybe more importantly, what makes it different from all the other roadmaps out there? Let's take a look under the hood. All right, the number one difference is its focus. A lot of roadmaps are what we'd call goal-oriented. They're all about the why. But a feature by release roadmap, it is laser-focused on the what and the when. It's all about concrete deliverables, not high-level strategy, which makes it incredibly practical when it's time to actually build stuff. So a good one is made up of a few key ingredients. First, you've got your releases, V1.0, V1.1, and so on. Then, for each release, you've got a list of the features you're planning, and they've got to be prioritized. You also need to call out any dependencies. We can't build X until Y is done. And finally, you have your milestones, basically the target dates. These are the building blocks of the whole plan. Now, let's be real. No tool is a magic bullet, right? This kind of roadmap has some huge benefits, but there are definitely some trade-offs you got to know about. Okay, the single biggest win here is alignment. The impact is massive. When everyone, engineering, marketing, sales, everyone is looking at the exact same plan, they can all move in sync. It's not just about logistics, though. That shared clarity creates this powerful sense of purpose. And it's a great defense against scope creep, because the mission for this release is crystal clear. You end up delivering real value to your users in these nice, predictable stages. But that clarity can be a double-edged sword. As the folks at Savia wisely point out, when you lay out such a clear plan, it sets a really strong expectation. And if you share that roadmap with the public, well, customers might see it as a hard promise. That can lead to some major disappointment down the line if, or let's be honest, when, priorities need to change. And that brings us right to the main drawbacks. For one, this structure can feel pretty rigid, which makes it harder to pivot when you need to. But there's a more subtle danger here, and it's becoming what people call a feature factory. You get so obsessed with shipping the what that you totally lose sight of the why. You just end up churning out feature after feature that doesn't actually solve a real problem for anyone. That's why it is absolutely critical to treat this thing as a guide, not an unbreakable contract. Okay, so we know the pros, we know the cons. How do you actually make this thing work for you? Let's run through a quick how-to. It's basically a 5-step process. Number 1, you have to start with your high-level strategy. Then, you prioritize your features. After that, you start grouping those features into logical release buckets. But listen, it doesn't stop there. The last 2 steps are maybe the most important. You have to communicate the plan to get everyone on board, and, this is a big one, you have to treat it like a living, breathing document that's always evolving. And this really brings us to the golden rule, which Atlassian puts perfectly. A roadmap that isn't connected to strategy, it's not a plan, it's just a wish list. Every single thing on there, Every feature, every release has to connect back to a bigger company goal. That's what gives the whole thing meaning. So, what's the bottom line? Let's wrap this up with the main takeaways. Okay, first, this thing is a fantastic tool for bringing order to chaos and getting your teams aligned. Second, you have to know the trade-off. You're getting incredible clarity, but you're giving up some flexibility. Third, and this is a biggie, it has to be a living document. It has to change as your world changes. And finally, never forget that strategy is the bedrock. Without it, the whole thing is just a list. So I'll leave you with one last question to think about for your own team. Is your current roadmap a static map, just telling you the turns to take? Or is it more of a dynamic compass, helping you navigate towards your true north, even when the landscape gets tricky? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.